We hop into Champion Select. Rookie taking on Cool, and Cool has been just a monster in that mid lane. Has a kill to death ratio of about 4.3 at this stage. Just ridiculous. He hasn't died 20 times yet in this entire season.
And it's one of those situations where Cool has been showing many different types of champions. It's not just been the carries, not just been the hard carry Syndras that we know from Cool, but it's also been the Lulu mid, for example.
Yeah.
Going for those more supporty choices. And OMG across the board are really adapting well to bringing on a hyper carry like Uzi. We wondered, okay, who's going to lose out on farm? It's kind of been, you know, a collaborative process. Some games we see Siva and a very tanky lineup and supportive lineup come from OMG. Some games we see the try hyper carry. That's when we all get very excited when we see the carries coming out of going Cool and Uzi. They have so many different gears, and that's why people are starting to speculate that OMG might be one of those very top teams in the world, because they're not just dominating the Chinese meta, they're not just dominating the other Chinese teams. They're showing so many levels and so many gears that you have to think they can step up to any challenge being thrown at them. Today it's a returning IG who looked in form yesterday.
Yeah, we'll see whether they can pull it off. The bans have come through, ladies and gentlemen. Invictus Gaming getting rid of Rumble, Kassadin, and Nah from the table, and the answer is going to be Rek'Sai, Azir, and Thresh. So looking pretty standard. There's only a couple really that have snuck through as far as those really hotly contested picks. Jarvan comes to mind, Janna as well, but Pokemon looking to pick up a potential Aurelia, and I see this as a pick away from Go-Going. Go-Going has been going off on that champion.
Yeah, 2 big matches on Aurelia last week, so it makes sense right there. He could have considered the Maokai.
Yep.
Of course, that's another champion who's available right here. Wow, the last second change to Lee Sin.
Yeah.
Very interesting to see with those 2 really trademark champions for Pokemon, the Maokai and the Aurelia, on a player who's been a little bit criticized as being limited in terms of his champion pool. They're not going to go for it. They're going to say, all right, if you pick that Aurelia, Maokai's still available. It's a competitive matchup there, but it's a big call to go for Lee Sin right here, because Kakao hasn't seen that much success on this champion, at least in the LPL so far.
Yeah, and Kakao has seen the majority of his success on the Jarvan. Of course, in the couple of victories just recently, has picked up a few wins on him. So, not entirely sure, but we shall see. And locking away the Lee Sin for him. But the answer is going to be Janna and, of course, Aurelia. So they let that slip through by switching back over. And we'll see what the answer is going to be. Still a few hotly contested picks on the board. And Invictus Gaming, see how they want to play out the early stages of this game. Because they have been, in their losses, in those 0-6 losses, just decimated throughout the game.
Yeah, one other champion that Kakao brought to his champion pool was the Nunu yesterday. Of course, the Nunu, we saw Clearlove do it with such great success today and previously. Nunu's been a really big pick in the LPL so far this season. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Nunu come out on the OMG side here, because of course Loveling has a lot of history on that champion and can play anything in the jungle, let's be real. The other big Loveling pick has been the Rengar, so you do see them hovering there. They're just changing through a few champions. Worth knowing the Maokai was picked up here. Definitely the most powerful pick we've seen come out of Pokemon. He's been very adept on that champion, even going for that Rod of Ages and more selfish build, because he's been able to get ahead in lane. And the Morgana support also coming out, although it could be a top lane. We have seen a top lane Morgana already today.
Yeah, that was in the hands of Flandre though, and that guy's played all sorts of things there in the top lane. The lockaways are going to be Lulu and Rengar here, actually saving the AD carry pickup here. And what kind of team would you do that with? You do it on a team with Uzi, who really wants to decimate that lane, so waiting until he can choose exactly what to take his champion against. And Kid thinking about a potential Corki here for that mid-game power spike and teaming up with potentially Kitties on this Morgana, if that's how it's going to work out. We'll see what their answer is, but I'm terrified by Cool on this Lulu if Go-Going is going to be the receiver of that wild growth.
So I look down this OMG team cut, and there's only one AD carry that really screams out to me, and it's that Siva. I would really expect a Siva because of the synergy with the rest of the team here. But it would have been one of those cases where, okay, they didn't want to blind pick Siva just in case we saw one of those really strong counter picks come out. Of course, we've seen Jinx used to great effect. We've seen, to some degree, Caitlyn used to great effect. There are great options against Siva, and they left themselves the option of leaving it to last pick. They've seen the Corki, and they decided to lock in the Vayne, so we will see Uzi's Vayne right here. So it's the hyper carry. Of course, with the Lulu mid, it did open up the hyper carry pressure. I just expected the On The Hunt to assist the thrill of the hunt. Of course, Irelia getting into the back of a team fight. But this is a different flavor of things. We've got the Uzi Vayne, and the hyper carries are really going to get going on OMG.
Yeah, and I can definitely understand sort of getting excited about the Uzi Vayne, but we've also got Rookie on Yasuo here in the mid lane as well. Everything is looking incredibly exciting, and when Yasuo was sort of massively hotly contested, it was paired up with the likes of this Maokai who can use that Arcane Smash to get him in, get him amongst it, get that 50% extra armor penetration, and really smack about the carries coming through from OMG. And we'll see whether he's going to be able to do it.
Yeah, there's also the Lee Sin kick, of course, on the ganks there. So team fight pressure coming out from the Arcane Smash. The kick on any sort of gank right there. A lot of tools for Yasuo to succeed. And he'd already seen the Lulu pick up. He knew it was going to be the Lulu mid. So he knew it's going to be a pretty low pressure mid. Of course, going to be annoying in a ranged versus melee matchup. But in terms of lane matchups for this nerfed Yasuo, of course, he has the base stats much lower than before. His shield's been repeatedly nerfed. A lot less safe in lane. He knows that Lulu's not going to be able to provide that much pressure in lane. So they're throwing the Gambit out there. It's a hyper carry in the mid lane to some degree. Another AD carry in a lot of respects in terms of damage dealt. So a lot of potential action coming out from that Yasuo.
Yeah, exactly. I think he recently received a couple of extra quality of life buffs, maybe a little bit more movement speed. I'm not sure whether that came through in the 4.21 patch that we are on. Of course, live, he is up to about that stage. Has been seeing a little bit more play, but we'll see whether he can be utilized to full effect here because... man, in the hands of Rookie, I could imagine that a couple of nerfs not going to bother him too much.
No, Rookie's Yasuo. We've just seen so little Yasuo.
Yeah.
And when he comes out, you never know the amount of potential. He's set up to succeed to some degree with the Arcane Smash in team fights on a very short cooldown. Plenty of opportunities to get that really huge last breath. And then, of course, the Lee Sin there also to provide that pressure. So a lot of knock-up synergy right there. A very strong bottom lane matchup here. It's the Corki Morgana versus... the Vayne and Janna here. Vayne and Janna not a laning, not a duo that you pick for laning. Are going to struggle in a 2v2. But OMG have so consistently gone with the lane swap right here. I think IG are going to be one step ahead of them because how many times have we seen OMG invade for vision? They're going to want to do it again, especially in this laning matchup. And I think IG are going to try and call their bluff.
Yeah, we'll see whether they can manage to get that. The thing that we're looking at here as well is the fact that, Corki, a lot of magic damage to pair up with this Yasuo. But let's get on to the rift. Stop talking about it and get into the game. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, with Invictus Gaming taking on OMG. This time, Invictus Gaming on our blue side and OMG on the red over here. Everyone fanned out, defensive posturing, and a few wards in this river as well. But nothing exciting to go on just yet, and we'll see whether they mix things up as this timer counts down towards when these minions are going to clash, because that lane swap must be looked at.
OMG have repeatedly gone for the early invade, trying to get vision, trying to get the lane matchups they want, and they haven't had their bluff called strategically in any of the series we've seen so far. It's one of the big keys to their success is they've always managed to opt into the laning phases they want. Of course, with this Janna Vayne, you have to expect they don't want to go for the 2v2 against Kid and Kitties on this Corki and Morgana. So I do expect the lane swap to come out, maybe a late invade. But look, it could all be turned on its head. Maybe we will see the bluff called and a very defensive start, but that just hasn't been the calling card of OMG so far.
Yeah, well, we've seen Invictus Gaming. They're actually predicting this lane swap to come in, but OMG, they've just decided to head down to that bottom side. And it looks like Invictus Gaming actually going to be the ones to instigate this lane swap.
Yeah, very interesting right here. It's been OMG on the front foot consistently, but it's going to be a different flavor of lane swap right here. And also, importantly, Maokai was very long in that top lane there, so might be able to pick up an extra pop before he ports down to bottom lane. We'll have to wait and see if we see the bottom lane, see if the freeze is on. Yes, it does look like it is, so Maokai won't lose much. But no jungle follow coming out from IG in the early game.
No, and Pokemon going to try and farm with these saplings early on. We'll see whether it's going to be enough. As Low actually around here bullying away Cacao from his red buff.
Yeah, we see a lot of harassing going, a lot of trading in the mid lane too here. Rookie does hit level 2 first.
Pokemon just going to say, yep, get out of our jungle, Low. You just go back to your lane. Calm down. So level 2 hit first here, definitely, but Rookie just smashing these creeps. I mean, he's not looking at Cool. Cool's doing a lot of poke damage, but Rookie just wants to shove this one out. Has picked up the exhaust here as well. And a lot of Yasuos do like to do this. They have that ability to be sticky, to get back onto the targets that he wants to with that E. Just wants to make sure that he's going to win these trades, and it's going to be so useful against the likes of Uzi in these later game team fights.
And usually when we see Yasuo pick up this exhaust, it's when they're in a very tough lane matchup. For example, Yasuo against Zed, where you want to counter the death mark with that exhaust right here. Against a more supportive mid lane, okay, he's going to eat a lot of harass, but I imagine it's more for the 2v2. When inevitably we see Loveling come in with the thrill of the hunt right here, the exhaust could be so helpful to stop him being completely burst down in damage, as Rookie actually took a turret hit in his weaving right there, so taking a lot of unnecessary damage in this mid lane.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate. And when Korn has so much consistent damage, he's actually not used the Ignite just yet. I thought I saw that one come through, but it was just that tornado being built up by Rookie, and he's going to go back very early on, but he's shoved this wave incredibly hard.
And the lane control in top lane is huge for IG. Kitty's actually been full-on zoning Go-Going, getting the autos in where he can. The wave is frozen very far away from the OMG turret right here. So Go-Going, even on that Aurelia, who's so good at CSing, is struggling. They have to bring Low into this lane.
Yeah, hasn't actually picked up one creep just yet, as Low does come in.
Finally on the board right there. 4 minutes into the game. No jungle follow, and the first CS at 4 minutes.
It is definitely not a good time to be in Aurelia. Being zoned away from experience as well, you have to think that's not going to be working out. Of course, Aurelia wants to be getting these levels. This Pokemon, Spidey senses tingling, understands there could be a kitty waiting in the bush. He's going to play back just a little bit. Actually thinking of heading back to base here.
Given that they've actually initiated the lane swap here, IG, or maybe been falsely taken away by OMG, the interesting thing I have right here is, of course, IG will need to counter-swap down bottom to get themselves some dragon control in a few minutes' time. I'm just interested to see what item threshold they're looking for this Corki to rotate. For example, we often see BF Sword and then rotating bot. Is it enough just to pick up the Phage, then rotate in 2v2 versus this Vayne? Or is it going to be more of a selfish item choice coming in? Maybe the Sheen as well before they rotate. The timing on that will be super interesting to me in a few minutes' time.
Yeah, difficult to save up about the 2,700 gold required for those two items, and the decision that he'll make here could be a dangerous one. But Loveling's made his way around the side. Pokemon playing back so smart. We were talking about sort of this evolution of Pokemon to come through, no pun intended, but he has definitely stepped up his play.
Let's be real here. The pun was definitely intended there, Atlas.
Yeah, we discussed it earlier.
But 12-3 is a massive CS advantage for Maokai right here. Very good at CSing under turrets. I wouldn't. This is what I was expecting to see on the minimap. You can see Cacao is actually coming here. They want to harass going away, so he doesn't really get any of the CS at turret because Aurelia's going to pick up almost all of it. But no, Cacao distracted by the Scuttle Crab.
Very distracting. Going. He gets shielded up here so he doesn't take too much harass. That Blade Surge doing a lot of work. Nice Dark Binding going to land, and Going takes about half of his health there as he tries to use that Blade Surge to pick up some creeps. And Kid doing a lot of work up here to try and get that damage down. Rookie again taking a lot of damage in this mid lane, but it's not hindering his ability to farm these creeps. He's sort of using his health as a resource here in this lane. And
given that we've said that these top laners have been the cornerstone of their team in recent games, you have to give the early advantage, and pathing play of IG really very much in their advantage here because they've been so smart in denying Going, and Pokemon relatively is free farming here, tripling Going CS.
Yeah, and Uzi falling behind Kid here as well as this lane situation does unfold. Uzi's made his way back up to the top side here as well. And IG now have an opportunity to just swap back down to that bottom side and have all of the dragon control like you were mentioning.
Absolutely. Counter-swapping OMG to get Going a bit of farm opens up huge dragon control to come out for Corki and Morgana and this IG team. So they've definitely won the first 7 minutes of this game strategically. Not something you can say so often against OMG.
Especially not when Uzi's sitting on this Vayne as well. Normally in these situations you'd say, oh, okay, giving a Vayne a free lane is definitely going to work out, but you can see it's affecting these top laners a lot.
I love to see the early Sheen pickup coming out from Kid. You can see because he has the longsword on top, he did have the gold to go for Phage, but he's just looking for damage to stick onto Going right here. He just wants to make Going's life a misery. And although Phage is so important in a 1v1 situation to orb walk, to trade, picking up the Sheen right here is just more burst damage coming on to Going. They're trying to hold down Going at every turn. He's already had to lane swap again.
Yeah, and not to mention the fact that, with this Sheen as well, they're going to have a lot more damage on that dragon if they do decide to go for it. Having that extra damage very, very useful. And you don't need a little bit of extra movement speed from a Phage if you're just going to be in a lane swap, because that does help with, you know, trading in a 2v2 situation, which I guess they have now found themselves in.
Yeah, the teleport advantage is significant with Pokemon, so I expect Kakao to start impacting the bottom side of the map, because they will have an advantage in any 3v2 or 4v3 situation, and they should have implied dragon control here with that teleport advantage. That already got the Catalyst up, does the Maokai here. Still, we don't know if it's going to be that Selfish Rod of Ages and start stacking up for the late game, or the Righteous Glory for the earlier power spike. Given the Corki comp here, you'd assume it's going to be the Righteous Glory pickup here, just to get the initiations on, to really start facilitating Rookie with all that extra movement speed coming from the Maokai, but we don't know for sure.
See how they do make that one work out as these regular lanes do unfold. And Uzi, even on CS now with Kid, was behind just a little bit. Has his Bilgewater Cutlass built up, of course, going for that Blade of the Ruin King first. Very standard Vayne play. And we have actually seen Uzi, I mean, really utilizing this Vayne Janna lane very, very effectively, even in the early stages. Of course, that shield giving you so much extra AD and allows you to trade so much more effectively. Has a bit of a level advantage here as well, just because Low was not around.
And also worth knowing that by the time they got to the 2v2, he already had a Bilgewater Cutlass, so has a lot more sustain, a lot more safe an option. He has the disengage and engage option of that Bilgewater proc here. So the timings are very good for Vayne to start getting into this 2v2. And you can see doing a lot better in this 1v1 up top right here. But Lovelink's not far away.
Yeah, Lovelink hanging around. Pokemon actually missed his Siege minion just by aggressing onto going there just a little bit. It's not something that you want. Of course, those cannon creeps, very, very important.
So I have to stop you there for a second, Alice. Look at this first pickup from Lee Sin. We've seen so many Sightstone boot starts right here. A completed warrior enchantment on the jungle item right here. It's so interesting to see him go for purely offensive stats after not doing any sort of trading, any sort of skirmishing, any sort of ganking from the Lee Sin. It's been a very, very passive start, a ganking start. A farming start from Lee Sin. Not something we'd expect, especially compared to Rengar right here, who's actually had more presence in the lanes. But if there is a 2v2 skirmish and they're not able to check that item quick enough, a lot of damage coming out of Kakao.
Yeah, it's good going. He's going to back away, sort of worried about where this Lee Sin might be, but Rookie, he's made his way up here as well, going to be spotted by the pink ward as he heads through that Tri-Brush. But the dive is on here yet again. Going always the beneficiary of those particular dives, but Pokemon flashes out to safety, and beautiful first blood here coming through for IG.
We see OMG, they're already onto the dragon right here. There are two members to contest it, but Lulu's the closest member there. It would be a 4v2 situation. So smart to back away right here. You take the dragon over the kill for sure, but it was a smart dive coming out from Invictus Gaming.
Yeah, it was a well-played dive, but a perfect response coming through from OMG. Is cool. He's going to get aggressed on here a little bit by Rookie, utilizing that shield that he has there as well, but Cool's Glitterlance really starting to hurt now that he's hit that level 9 stage. Going to have all of the points in that one. This time, of course, the change in flavor as far as the Vayne matchup is concerned, or the Vayne leveling system, is you're going to be leveling that Silver Bolts first up. Make sure that third attack going to be doing plenty of damage. Of course, Tumble was optimal earlier on, but not so much anymore.
I'll come back to the Lee Sin for just a second, just because I'm wondering. It was a surprise to see it picked first. Obviously, it showed a lot of priority put on that champion by IG, despite the fact that they've had quite poor results with it, especially lately. And then to not pick up the Sightstone in a matchup against Lovelink's Rengar is so interesting to me, because usually the thing you want to do against Rengar is to get deep wards in so that you can see him popping that Thrill of the Hunt and just have that extra warning to be able to back off the lane and stop him from using that such an important long cooldown he has with the stealth. They don't have any aggressive wards whatsoever in Invictus Gaming here. So given there's been no early skirmishing from Lee Sin to snowball his lanes, this first Rengar gank, if it's successful, could start a very strong mid-game snowball for OMG.
We'll see where he does decide to go, of course. Looking around this mid lane, hasn't been spotted by any wards. Not at risk of being spotted by any pinks up here either. But it is going to be Rookie just heading back. And this has been his sort of playstyle here, not wanting to stay in a lane with a Lulu in order to get sort of poked down. Instead, shoving it out relentlessly. Now has that static shiv as well. So really, really important buy here coming through for Rookie.
He definitely needs the shiv for the counter push there. When we last saw the mid turret, it was so low just from Cool hitting the mid turret with reckless abandon, not looking to match Rookie in his transition to the top lane, just doing more and more turret damage in the mid lane right here. He really wants to take down this structure just to open up some vision. Of course, OMG, they play so differently once they get their outer ring of turrets down. They're so aggressive in getting the wards into the enemy jungle and starting their pick game, even if they don't have a true pick comp. They have plenty of pick power here today, though, so you know they want to get those turrets down as fast as possible.
Yeah, Pokemon actually trying to push this wave into the turret. And he's got some friends on the way. Rookie's up here as well. A lot of top lane focus here. They know that OMG is all about getting going. And unable to this time. That was such an uncomfortable thing to have to say, I'm not going to lie to you.
And Pokemon, he is going for the Rod of Ages build right here, so he's delaying his power spike for another 10 minutes, but we might see a fight in the mid.
Yeah, Cool got kicked, but wasn't in range for that last breath, and Cacao's going to fall down. The Tornado's going to land, not going to be Rookie going in on that one, as Kitty's going to use that Black Shield to dodge away from the bowler slow. Rookie somehow weaving around that one. Starts the last breath here. There's the Wild Growth to come through, but Loveling's taking so much damage. The Exhaust to come down as well. The Flash in response here as Rookie picks up the kill under Loveling in response. Another Tornado to come round. The E coming through. Kitties is going to fall as Going picks up a teleport kill.
Yeah, 2 kills in the bottom lane at the same time. Also here, as Uzi's managed to take out Kid during all of that fracas. Very nice play right here, but Rookie's still fighting against Going.
Yeah, he's landing so many of these Tornadoes as well, as that Static Shiv is proccing for so much damage. The slow from the Glitter Lance, though, turned around here by Going, picks up the kill. Pokemon's here as well, and that ultimate not going to find Going. Cacao's found his way back around. Logan will knock out with that Sonic Wave, and Pokemon, you're definitely dead. Going right back in this game.
And Going needs so much respect for being so smart to quickly trigger that teleport after forcing Maokai to teleport top. They had the numbers advantage there, and Maokai had to actually walk down. So watch the map right here. You can see there that Aurelia starts her teleport right now after there's already been a kill coming down for OMG. Loveling keeps committing right here, and Rookie, he could have backed away. This could have just been a 1-for-0, but Rookie smells blood and he wants to go in for the fight. He knows he has the huge level advantage, even with Lulu around. He knows he'll eventually pick up the kill right here, but this is Going already with a Phage and Sheen. So strong at this point, and Maokai's nowhere to be found. You can see on the minimap, he's still slowly walking down to the mid lane right there. So Going making a huge advantage, a huge rotational play, knowing that Maokai's teleport was down, won them a very significant skirmish, and down the bottom lane, Uzi got the kill as well.
Oh, Cacao actually kicking Loveling back into that last breath. Beautifully played. It's Cool not going to find the Glitter Lance here, and IG going to clear out some wards. Cool looking to put some pressure on because of his range advantage. Going's found his way in here as well. It's a decent wind wall to try and help Rookie out, and Cacao, he's back in here as well. The safeguard can get in the way here, but he's going to die for it. Going is so big, and now with that Wild Growth as well. Going so strong. They take down Rookie as well, as Pokemon gets turned into a little critter, and he's going to have to get out of here because Cool is just assisting in these fights so beautifully.
And the class of Going is shining through in what we call the battle of the top lanes right here. 3, 1, and 2. It doesn't matter that he's 30 CS down. He's made so many significant rotations on the map after a horror early learning phase. And they always say that form is temporary, but class is permanent.
Yes, it definitely is. And in the case of Going as well, after getting dived, getting camped, and now back in this game, most definitely with a vengeance. 3, 1, and 2. On this Aurelia, as Cool's trying to clear out this mid wave. Yet again, another wave to crash into this turret. Rod of Ages has been completed by Pokemon here, a little bit later than others that we've seen just recently, but Going now with a red buff has a lot of power up here, and Cacao, he really wants to keep him down.
Well, Cacao has to make this very early Warrior Enchantment pay. It looks like they're going to go for a fight in the top lane. Going could be in a lot of trouble.
Going could be in trouble, but that is going to mean another dragon to come through. There's a Sonic Wave, Resonating Strike. Going's going to fall, but the dragon has been taken here by OMG. It's a matter of a couple of seconds, and Loveling even sort of ignores it for a bit at the end there as IG, there's nothing that they can do. Second dragon going over to OMG, and they are in so much control despite Going being kept down.
And the item build coming back from Cacao is really holding back IG's game plan right here. We have to remember, this is Kid on Corki. He has his Trinity Force. The mid game has definitely started for the Corki, but they're already 2 dragons in the hole with a mid-game focused team comp right here. Of course, Rookie will provide a little bit of hyper carry in the flavor in the late game right here, but Rengar, Aurelia, and Vayne will be so strong for OMG in the late game. I'll hand the late game to OMG, and they're winning in terms of neutral snowball in the early game. So IG, they made some smart moves, but I, again, have to come back to these item pickups from Kakao. If he had that early Sightstone and been able to predict the rotations from OMG a bit better, we wouldn't see this 2-dragon hole they're in right now.
And he got this extra damage in the jungle as well. Hasn't really translated that to a creep lead either.
No, he's spent a lot of time farming on Lee Sin. It's just such a surprising pick. After seeing so much success with the Nunu last series, and Nunu being a blocker pick for champions like Rengar, because you get that early Sightstone, you always have early wards down the enemy jungle, and you just have the ability to hold down aggressive junglers with that kind of counter pick in Nunu. Nunu was available this game, not taken by Kakao. So much priority put on this Lee Sin. They could have picked Aurelia first, of course. They were mulling over it. They've got basically nothing out of this Lee Sin pick.
Yeah, and as a first pick as well, as you mentioned. Very interesting. We'll see whether it is going to have the impact later, of course. Those last breaths with the kicks are very, very important. Kakao, a very seasoned Lee Sin player as well. But Pokemon now trying to farm out this top wave. Of course, Going did manage to take down that top outer turret here as well. So the third outer turret now for OMG. And talking about taking turrets, this is the team that you want to discuss, because OMG known for their ability to push objectives early on, now with complete dragon control and the outer ring of turrets taken down as well. And Uzi's now rotating around this map as well. This Vayne, he wants to get it out, of course. The Brutalizer's been completed, almost has his couple of purple items to really get himself in this one. Does have a null magic mantle there as well, so wanting to build potentially that QSS very early here.
In the bottom lane, we do see Cool might be caught.
Cool might be in trouble. He is, and he is in fact dead. His kid's going to pick up that kill there. Cool, maybe a little bit of an overextension, but they're going to trade that for an inner turret there in the mid lane, most likely.
Now, Cool was trying to create aggro down bot, because we saw the 4-man group was starting to try and get aggressive wards in this top blue side jungle for OMG.
Yeah, Thrill the Hunt has been popped here. Pokemon incredibly tanky with that Rod of Ages coming through, and Kid, he wants to get some rockets into this one. Going's found his way around as well. Uzi's popped the ultimate, but doesn't decide to go too far in as Pokemon try and clear out some wards. Scrying Orb going to be used just to spot OMG's retreat.
Yeah, IG do have position on this mid turret here. They should be able to DPS it down before the contest comes in.
Yeah, Cool only just respawning here as well. It didn't have a lot of health, and Invictus Gaming able to pick up their second turret of the game. Outer turret in bot lane, the only one left standing. Dragon not going to be available for the next few minutes. Probably 3 on that one at about this stage. And OMG looking to keep the pressure on here in the mid.
Yeah, OMG's plan earlier, just before Cool died, was to get aggressive wards in the IG blue buff side so they could have Vayne split push. Lulu could split push the bottom, clear waves, and of course Uzi could go top and there'd be no one to counter him, but he's in trouble.
There's a kick onto Uzi coming through as well. The last breath coming down as well. Uzi trying to use that wild growth, but he's going to fall down. Pokemon picks up an instant double kill. Answered by Rookie as well as Low falls down. Sonic Wave resonating strike. Kakao with the plays here is Cool. He's going to fall. Kitty splashes on top of him, pops the heal. And this is going to be a clean ace for IG. And with Baron just up, are they going to go for it?
A 5-0 ace. It looks like they'll start the Baron. They'll need to be very smart with the trade tanking, but they do have the Yasuo win wall to reduce some of the damage right there. And opting into a fight against this Corki, already Trinity Force and the startings of his Blade the Ruin King. So much in terms of mid-game power right there. And the AoE burst coming out of IG between the last, that wonderful flash kick from Kakao. Maybe that validates the Lee Sin pick. He didn't get the early game pressure, but that is a massive turnaround at 20 minutes. We're going to see the replay right here. Actually, we're going to see me. Hello, guys.
Hey, Chris.
But would have been nice to see a replay, but we do see it on our screen right now. So much fun. The AoE damage, just triple kill instantly right here before anyone can react. The support of Lulu in the background there has used her ultimate, doesn't have any damage to provide whatsoever right here. Kid goes in, gets the last kill right here, and I don't know if we've seen a 5-0 ace in any OMG game this season, so it's a big win for IG.
Yeah, and that was just a demonstration as well of these KT Arrows players, Rookie and Kakao, showing the synergy instantly with that last breath after the kick in exactly the right spot. As Uzi's actually getting aggressed on here by Rookie. It's a beautiful wind wall to come in. Catcher's low here, but Uzi's not caught out as Rookie's trying to escape now. The rest of the cavalry has found their way in. Loveling, he wants to finish off the kill. He gets Rookie. Uzi, he's still alive. Loveling gets Wild Growth here as well as OMG. Try to turn this one around. Kakao, he's running away. Loveling just leaping around these brushes, and Pokemon with no damage. not going to be able to secure anything, and that's 4 dead in the bottom lane for 1.
A 4-for-1 trade, and crucially 4 Baron buffs cancelled out by OMG right there. IG with 2 overzealous. They thought, all right, we've got Yasuo. He can match the split push coming out from Uzi. They did not expect to have the full cavalry coming from OMG right there. And so fast this game turns. The seesaw of yesterday's series, LGD versus IG, we used that term a few times. It's happening once again in this series.
It's so back and forth. Of course, OMG with a lot of power early, but the Dragon just respawning. OMG able to keep their stranglehold on this neutral objective. The Scrying Orb's going to spot them, but that's just going to be basically a TV show here for Invictus Gaming as they watch the Dragon fall.
Yeah, the third Dragon again against a mid-game comp, picking up these 3 dragons just gets them closer to that snowball. About 12 minutes before theoretically we might see the 5th dragon coming out, and for a late game comp to be the first to have the realistic chance at 5 dragons is massive for OMG. IG, they validated the Lee Sin pick, got the 20-minute Baron, which was a huge win for them right there. But that counter throw in the bottom lane, where they gave away 4 kills, gave away their Baron up advantage, has put this game squarely back in OMG's court, despite being 1,000 gold behind.
Yeah, and you really cannot underestimate Uzi on this Vayne as well. Able to have all of the moves to get away from Rookie and playing that beautifully. Going for what looks like a Last Whisper as his next item here with that pickaxe in his inventory. Not wanting to finish off that Ghost Blade just yet as He's going to protect this inner turret as Kid, of course, the only member of Invictus Gaming with a Baron buff still rotating around it.
And Uzi is the second AD carry after Def to go for this snowball QSS option right here. Of course, QSS, it had its price reduced. It's down to 1250 gold right here. So very affordable after a teamfight win. And it gives you so much security against the Dark Binding linear engage we're seeing right here. We could see the Maokai flash twisted advance, but of course that's on a 5-minute cooldown. The only other real lockdown CC on the side of IG is the Dark Binding, and he now has the QSS available. So this Vayne should be super maneuverable in team fights.
Oh yeah, not to mention Cool having that wild growth as well. This Raise the Puppy comp is possible here for Uzi. A little bit of a throwback to when he was on Starhorn Royal Club. The focus of the carry.
If you put all your eyes on Uzi, GoGoing's already shown his smart rotational play in the early game. He's had a very good item timing in terms of Irelia right here. This Irelia is going to be doing very relevant damage in a fight.
Oh yeah, Spectre's Cowl and Glacial Shroud completed, as well as the Ninja Tabi, and completed Trinity Force. And after that Trinity Force, you have to say, all of the tankiness coming on top of GoGoing. He already has the damage necessary in these fights, and he's only going to get more and more difficult to kill. But if you look over the other side, Pokemon definitely doing well. Still has a 20 CS advantage, 3 kills to his name as well as GoGoing, and has that Frozen Heart done as well, and that's going to really help.
So this scenario in a team fight, we've got 2 tanky initiators in the top lane right here. You have to assume it's going to be Trinity Force, Banshee Veil, and Frozen Heart coming through from GoGoing once he gets the gold for those items. Already a very similar flavor, the Road of Ages into Frozen Heart, then some sort of magic resist item coming onto Pokemon. Both of them are going to be going for the enemy AD carry, but there's a significant advantage for GoGoing because he's against a Corki. Corki has a lot of AoEs in his spells, but if you're able to get on top of this Corki, start damaging him, and then just eat all the rockets coming through so no AoE goes on to the back line right there, Corki very much like Sivir struggles to get through a strong frontliner. Whereas Pokemon going on to Vayne, once Vayne QSS is your first CS, obviously that twisted advance, he's going to be so able to he's going to be able to get away, be maneuverable. He's a tank buster. That's, of course, Vayne is a tank buster compared to that Sivir. So it's a very big advantage when you compare Vayne and Corki against a very fed front line. So I worry for IG here, unless we see the crazy wombo coming out of Rookie.
Yeah, Rookie really needs to get right on top of Uzi, and he needs to be eliminated instantly because it's that knock-up, it's that hold that you get from the last breath that isn't QSSable. So as soon as they get that off, they need to destroy Uzi and then win the fight, as we saw demonstrated so beautifully prior. But Invictus Gaming are stretching a gold lead just a little bit as they do solidify about a 2,500 gold advantage at this stage of the game. And with Rookie, on this Yasuo, Maokai's only going to get more and more difficult to kill. We talk about the late game being in OMG's hands, but IG, they will be able to fight in the late stages.
And a lot does rely on Uzi, and he's gone for a different flavor of Vayne build right here. a build maybe more reminiscent of other champs, has gone for a very early Last Whisper right here. He understands that he's going to need to get through this front. He's going to need to get through Pokemon and Cacao, and because he has the Lulu ult and because he has Flash available, he has the QSS, he's going to be free hitting during these fights. It's going to be very hard to get the Last Breath ultimate for the further CC on him, just because he's going to CC the first ability and not give the option to be Last Breath right there. So he's going to be he's going to realize he's going to need to go for a very tanky, armor-centric front line right here. So he doesn't have the damage modifiers. He doesn't have the Yomas for split push. He doesn't have any critical strike whatsoever right here. It's going to take him a lot of autos, but he will be able to blow through this front line over time.
Yeah, and it's only going to get more and more difficult to deal with as this game goes on as well. And it looks like we're settling in for a bit of a late game stretch. Pokemon going to be answering the split push of going here, as teleports are available for our top laners. And if any action is to happen, as the Thrill of the Hunt is popped here by Loveling, not going to quite find anyone as Kitties gets a little bit alarmed. He's going to be okay.
Been some very long series this week, Atlas. It's been multiple 45+ minute games right here. The big timer on this game, of course, is the 5 dragons. Already 3 in OMG's pockets. They've got 3-0 in the dragon right here. The next dragon comes at 30 seconds, and Baron has already respawned, of course. It was taken just after that 20-minute mark right here. I'd be surprised to see a swap of objectives, but you have to know that if OMG can secure that 5th dragon after picking up this 4th one, getting the timer on it, being in first position and rotation for the 5th one, they will be very able to close out this game.
Most definitely, but of course, at this stage, you don't want to trade a Baron for a 4th dragon.
No. In terms of wards on the map right here, we don't see a lot of offensive wards coming out from OMG. That's almost always their calling card. Once they have those 3 outer turrets down like they do, they try and get those aggressive wards in. But credit to IG right here. They have a very solid pink ward line here. 2 in their top side jungle, 2 in the bottom side jungle. They are not letting OMG strangle them out of vision in this game. And compared to a lot of other series, it's so competitive compared to OMG blowing away other competition.
Oh, look at these Blade of the Ruin Kings just destroying that dragon. Howling Gale not going to find IG as well. They pick up their first very important 6% statistics for taking that dragon, and no answering Baron, nothing to come from OMG, and I think it was all to do with Uzi coming back from base as that dragon was taken.
That was definitely part of it, but I'm going to come back to vision again just because it's so much the standard story of having so much enemy vision that you can pick up free objectives. Always OMG taking your red, taking your blue, the moment they take out that outer ring of turrets. But IG have been very smart in their warding this game, and the vision denial right here. And it's a 50-50 or worse for OMG at all of these objectives. That's never the case against this team. So IG, they've watched their tape, they've really put their comp together well. And after an interesting start to the game, it's all tied up.
So close. Rookie now only, 4 CS behind Cool, who's been split pushing a lot. Thrill of the Hunt has been popped though. Loveling, he might be in a little bit of trouble here as the wind wall's going to block a lot of these abilities. A little bit of a trade of tornadoes there. Adorably coming through. Invictus Gaming going to take away this red buff as well. Pokemon has successfully pushed out this bottom wave. That is slowly going to push towards OMG. And Uzi going to take the Scuttle Crab for himself.
And while they do get the slow push onto bottom right here, because they didn't have 5 members strong, because going grouped with his team first, they've been able to go and clear out some of the pink wards right here, get the aggressive wards down. And it was actually going in one of his videos during the week, watching the NALCS, talking about how if you're in a split push situation, sometimes the smart move is to group early with your team and go and take down wards and prime an objective rather than going for that split push, just because if you have the vision advantage, it makes team fighting so much easier.
But the beautiful thing here is that Invictus Gaming have slow pushed both of those side waves, and now as soon as Pokemon's come back, they're pushing in. They're going to have to be dealt with. You can see the IG pings going into that bottom lane. OMG has to deal with that gigantic minion wave, and in the meantime have set up complete vision control around this Baron area.
Now, after the crazy team fights of the first 10, 20 minutes of this game, it's been a war of attrition. It's been all about the vision in the last 5 to 6 minutes right here. We haven't seen that first big pick, and if anyone gets picked out at this stage, you have to think it's likely to be OMG, because they're going to need to go in and get this Baron vision soon. You're going to expect this game to start snowballing very quickly.
Yeah, that inner turret actually tanked up that entire wave of minions. No one from OMG deciding to go down there and pick that one up. They want to let it just push back naturally on its own, but that's a lot of resources lost here. Uzi's going to take away the Krugs there on the top side of the map. Of course, Wave pushing out now again for OMG's Kakao. He's looking for the kick onto low. They get the pick that they want. That is Last Breath, though, popped, and it's not going to be Uzi. The triple knock-up to come through here as well. As Pokemon trying to find his way in. This is a gigantic rookie, of course, with a lot of extra armor penetration. Another pick onto Loveling as well, and Invictus Gaming turning it on, and it's all about Kakao and these fantastic kicks with Rookie.
And Invictus Gaming were very smart and understanding. They wanted to pick on anyone. They just wanted to kill anyone. It didn't matter that it was the support, because it forces OMG to make bad decisions. But they've started the Baron right here. It's low, and it looks like they want to finish it off.
Yeah, Pokemon into that front line as well. Cool actually having to blow that flash. The Uzi does get exhausted here as well, as Pokemon's going to pick up that kill. Beautifully played. Invictus Gaming. This is a completely different team. Sidewave manipulation, pick potential. Fantastic play coming out of these guys.
Their objective play in Week 4 compared to their previous 6 games is night and day completely right here. They're actually responding to the enemy comp and countering it and making smart decisions. Their vision control, especially this game, has been amazing by their standards, by world standards even, and they're reaping the rewards right here.
They really are. It's a Thornmail on this Maokai as well. Highest kills on his team, 5, 2, and 4. What a monster. He is the immovable tank that we know him to be. And cool, he's going to get caught and eliminated immediately. The inhibitor turret to fall down as well. Loveling copping rockets in the face as the inhibitor falls to these baroned up minions. And Invictus Gaming with such a beautiful passage of play. Now 8,000 gold in the lead.
Yeah, 8,000 gold in the lead. Atlas, we thought it was a huge surprise to see them take a 2-0 win over LGD yesterday. The coming of the potential win over OMG here, one of the top teams in the world at this stage, would be a massive result for Invictus Gaming.
And this is a team that's only suffered one tie against the likes of Snake, arguably one of the other top teams next to EDG. And man, OMG really struggling at this stage, but game isn't over yet. It's Invictus Gaming with that Baron, with an inhibitor down, but OMG have a late game comp. They are able to answer back, and we've seen this game go all on its head multiple times already.
Yeah, they've managed to clear out a lot of the pink wards in the bot side jungle here, so Invictus Gaming need to stay away from their red side jungle. They must understand, with no vision right there could be a death bush at any turn. So they're smart here not to enter that bottom brush. Of course, they may be split pushed here and eat a inner turret loss right here, but IG smart here. They're going to where they know they have vision. They're going to where they know the enemy isn't, and trying to push their advantage.
Yeah, Kitty's actually caught out cool here. This is the support versus the mid lane. They're going to get caught by that Soul Shackles. Kakao's around here as well. Wild Growth probably not going to be enough. The Zhonya's, it's available, but the rest of Cool's team not there, and Pokemon picks up himself another kill.
Another smart rotation from Invictus Gaming. It's going to be another outer turret. They're chunking it down like it's nothing.
That's a butter turret right there. Going to be eaten by Invictus Gaming. Rookie and Kid doing so much damage. These Sheen procs. Of course, the Infinity Edge now on Rookie. He has so much damage. 100% critical strike chance as the Tornado just going to whoosh past OMG. The second inhibitor easily taken down by IG, and they are in so much control.
This is a new Invictus Gaming, Atlas. We saw them the war of words with them in one of their previous series. They clearly weren't all on the same page right here, but they're playing as a team. It's not the Kakao show. It's not even the Kakao and Rookie show. It's been Pokemon and the rest of the team doing so well, and they are playing so smart as a team against one of the best in the world.
Yeah, and it's actually the Stark's Fervor being picked up here by Kitties, or is it a Zeke's Herald?
Zeke's Herald indeed.
Oh
so
my goodness.
A lot of cooldown reduction available right there. When you have this Rookie right here on this Yasuo, of course it helps Corki, but it's going to be the stats that Yasuo so craves in the mid lane.
Yeah, Kakao going to utilize it a little bit as well as his Kid, as you mentioned, so a decent pickup, but a little bit of a flavorful one, you have to say. Not one that we normally see. The Infinity Edge almost finished up here from Kid. He's going to go back and grab that item. Has kept up in CS here against Uzi, and Uzi not having the greatest performance here on this Vayne. And not going to have the opportunity in his build either to build up that crit item, the gigantic Infinity Edge, in order to really complement his damage. But this is a Vayne, does rely on those Silver Bolts in order to get that damage down, and wants a Phantom Dancer in order to sneak around these fights and not get creep blocked or anything like that.
And because I was so critical of this Lee Sin pick that, of course, has developed into a really important master stroke for Kakao and IG right here, I'm going to return to the Vayne pick right here. I talked about how Sivir fits this comp to a T just because it helps with the rotations, it helps with going and Loveling getting into the backline with all that movement speed right here. if you're going to pick Vayne, you're going to expect split pushing flavor. But because of the smart warding from IG right here, Uzi's been basically neutered. Uzi's had no big plays this game, has never been able to split push away from his team. And this consistent grouping by IG is neutering that Vayne picks perfectly.
Yeah, and look at this Windwall in perfect position. Thrill of the hunt for the last-ditch effort here from OMG, but Pokemon is huge in that front line. The phosphorus bombs on top of Loveling as well. Cool. So incredibly low. Cacao, he's just happy to tank up this turret as it melts to the power of Invictus Gaming. This last inhibitor going to fall down. There are super creeps streaming into the base of OMG, and this may spell the end. Of course, everyone's still alive on the side of OMG. They have the opportunity to make something happen. Cacao, going so deep in this fight. He's just going to die for free. Pokemon now getting destroyed, but his passive doing so much work. Low getting ripped apart. Rookie's come in. He gets turned into a critter, and they're turning it around. OMG looking fantastic, but Uzi's going to fall down. Kid's still huge, but Pokemon finds himself the only man alive, and OMG somehow managed to defend.
After such a smart first 38 minutes, Atlas, Cacao had a bit of a brain fade there. He went for the flash kick to proc Rookie's ultimate, but was out of range by mere inches right there after the range nerfs on that ability a few months ago right there. The synergy was not there, and once Cacao died instantly, the rest of his team fell around him. So of course we do have 3 super minion waves pushing in, so OMG will not be able to pick up any counter objectives. But after such a smart, measured 38 minutes, IG cannot afford to make more mistakes like that.
Yeah, it was definitely not what you want to do, and you don't want to give this team a chance to get back in. Of course, with these 2 inhibitors falling relatively recently, they're going to have a little bit of time where they have to just deal with these minion waves, and IG are going to have entire control of this map. The next 40 seconds is going to be when that Baron is available, and you have to think that IG, after a little bit of a misstep, will want to secure that objective before they go for anything else and let these super creeps do some work on the last remaining turret for OMG.
So we don't have the flashes available on any of their carries right here, so it's going to be that much harder for Pokemon to get into the back line right here. Of course, without the flash, Twisted Advance, that 900 range gap closer, compared to, I believe, the 500 range naturally, they're going to find it difficult to get the picture-perfect Cacao initiation, barring a Miracle Q right here. So smarter, just wait for this Baron to spawn. OMG might try and contest it, but they haven't had the chance to push up their vision anywhere near the Baron just yet.
Yep, Tormented Soil is down. Loveling's actually going to find Cacao here as the rest of OMG are going to come around. Safeguards over the wall, and they've started up the Baron, but IG, they want to start something going right in that front line, but he's getting destroyed. Beautiful Wild Growth going to be going on to going, but he has to get the heck out of here as Pokemon. He's telling him how to tank as this Maokai goes in, but there is so much damage on both sides of this rift. Cacao finds Uzi, but there's no last breath to come through. Rookie doesn't quite have the damage, the ability to get in here, but he's trying to come through. Pokemon is finally going to fall, but picks up going here as well. Kid's alive. Uzi is as well as Rookie tries to find his way in, but Uzi with a sweet outplay. And Kiddies is trying to get in, trying to get the Dark Binding. Kid just melts Uzi, and that was a little bit anticlimactic, I might have to say.
Atlas, there were so many phases of that team fight. That is the sort of team fight you'd want to watch again and again. The one thing I'll call out before we see the replay is watch the win walls coming through from Rookie White there. Twice that fight, he won the fight for IG. Firstly, countering the engage, just completely splitting all the damage from the enemy team. And the second time around, doing the same thing right there. The win wall, a second win wall on a fight, that tells you how long a fight is, because that ability is on a long cooldown. But that was a wonderful fight, and I have to hope that's the post-game replay, because it was unbelievable play from Rookie and IG right there. And they've done it. They've taken a game off OMG. And realistically, if they play like that, and if OMG allow them to play their game, if they play reactive to IG, this could be a serious loss for OMG.
Yeah, and IG having so much momentum going into the next game as well. I mean, things looking shaky in sections here, but Invictus Gaming showing the team fight prowess and that synergy of that mid and jungle play. Not quite getting the last breaths in the right positions, but in that last team fight, it was just beautifully done as, man, Kid, that guy was doing so much damage. And let's have a look at it again.
So we're going to get the replay right here. It is this last big fight. So OMG realized they're going to hit the go button here. Now watch the first wind wall when it comes in. The first wind wall completely stops 4 members from doing any damage right here. And it lets you know how long this fight is, because they're consistently looking for the last breath. The first Q there is Zhonya's by Cool, so he's not able to use the last breath there. Is Rookie right here. Again, Kakao goes for the kick. Again, it's out of range of the last breath right here. So it's a very long, drawn-out fight, but Kid is free hitting at the bottom, doing a lot of AoE damage. No tanks in his face, but that second win wall right there, splitting the team again, spelt death for Uzi and the rest of OMG right here. It's smart outplay attempts by Uzi, but he understands there's nowhere for him to run right here. It's a warded brush. Sad days for him as the 790 damage crit comes in right there. And IG have done it. They've taken one game. It's a big win for them here, but again, it's only one guaranteed point for them here in a long 44-game season. This is not the postseason just yet, but to go from 6-0, a wonderful start to the season, then that 0-6 slump where we start to reevaluate our expectations for IG. They've taken 2 straight games off LGD. Now they've beat OMG, one of the consensus top teams in the world. Exciting to see Invictus Gaming showing new strengths to their play.
Yeah, and we'll see whether Invictus Gaming can give OMG their first series loss as we go to a quick break, but we'll be back with OMG taking on Invictus Gaming right after this.